There is no redemption or salvation outside your culture. Don't miss our transformative videos. Join the Marifado Family Network today and embark on a journey to unlock the secrets of happiness and spirituality with a lot of promises for your fulfillment. If you are ready to embark on your spiritual quest, you subscribe now and watch our enlightening videos and delve into recommended books to begin your path towards joyous living and meaningful connections with your ancestors as well as the divine. You can visit our website marifado.org and also contact us on our email join@marifado.com to learn more. There is no salvation or redemption outside your culture. Even within our Ubuntu or culture, there is a lot of sellouts and deceivers. This is a caution because there are people that are driven by divisiveness, tribalism, and the Berlin Conference mentality. Recently, in one of our chats on WhatsApp, there was somebody who displayed a xenophobic mentality when they wrote that probably Marifado Family Network should end in Zimbabwe, Botswana, Namibia, Mozambique, Angola, etc. if it exists in these neighboring countries. Then he goes on to say, here in South Africa, we are very proud of our ancestors and we won't allow again to be drawn into worshipping things we do not know. Definitely, this person has no clue. He goes on to say, a lot of time has been consumed dwelling on concepts that our imimoya could not sit well because they are not in the realm of the spirits of our own ancestors. As if his ancestors are only his ancestors, as if they are the original ones, but they are not, because they are lower family and the clan amandlos or spirits. They are not war spirit or majukwa. They are not even divination spirit or sangoma. They are not even hunter spirits or even the divinity spirit or rainmaker spirit at that highest level of all over the earth. They are just a tiny little tribal or spirit. Therefore, it is very clear that they want to ignore these gods and they don't know what they are doing. And this guy is clearly clueless when it comes to morality and dignity controlled by the spirit of Makomga, and also performance and enterprise spirit that causes us to be inventive, to be creative. All these musicians that we know, all these inventors that we know operate with certain spirits, not their ancestral spirits, right? On top of what they have in terms of authority and knowledge of the truth coming from divination spirits usangoma, they are not divisive. They are unifier. They unify all of us. They do not recognize Berlin Conference borders. It is a shame to have a spirit or a spiritual orientation that sanctifies the Berlin Conference borders and the tribes established by colonizers, apartheid constructors, and all the evil people that enslaved us, that take our resources, the Chinese. Soon these people embrace the Chinese. This person who writes this never casts against Europeans. He is embracing Europeans, studying European subjects, and loving European technology. He is a cynic and negativity and destructive. This is clear, because if you castigate your own divinities and your own ancestors and friends, it means you don't have Ubuntu spirit in you, because Ubuntu is more of a philosophical concept than a religious doctrine. It has no single founder. It is a founder who is unknown. It is a cultural ethos that was passed down to us from the divinity. Ubuntu, I am because we are. Not I am because I am, or I am because of my tribe. That's not Unu. That's a spirit of divisiveness, because they do not recognize that ancient astronomy began in Africa, that African solar calendar 75,000 years ago, plus some other years on top of that, inzalo yelanga mpumalanga in Mzansi. When your mind is so small, you have to realize that your consciousness must transcend your perception, and by light years, not only by a few years, but by greater volumes and quantities. Our ancestors and their cultural heritage they gave to us were explorative all over the Milky Way galaxy and all over the universe. They never stayed in their enclave. Rediscovering our true history compels us to reclaim it as part of our identity. You cannot be found castigating your own history, even by any means or by any measure, because the transformative power of our African culture becomes a personal and a collective force of liberation through even music and dance, through even cultural clothes that we wear across the whole of Africa, just like shown here. It's not only in Hamid that they wore leopard skin. In South Africa, in Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Nigeria, everywhere, this was their attire to show that this person is a Sangoma, this person is a shaman, this person has another spirit, another skill. African cultures have endured European colonization. They will endure Chinese colonization, Indian colonization, Arabic colonization, apartheid. They endured that because of communal energy that is in them. Ubuntu is I am because we are. It is a preserving philosophy. It is a culture that gives us redemption, that gives us salvation in our spirituality, so that we are not divisive and we do not think of our own salvation as more important than communal salvation. Do Africans or melanin dominant human beings need salvation? The answer is yes and no. Depends with what type of redemption you are looking for. Because they are deceiving spirits in Chivanu, in Isintu, in Bantu spirituality, in African spirituality that are deceiving people. So what you need to do is to detect the deception so that you can use the knowledge of Ubuntu to save your soul. When you know that we are one and you are not divided, there is no divisive spirit, you then understand even your history of how black people, melanin dominant people, Bantus colonized the whole earth and civilized the whole world. You can read this book by Charles Perry to understand this and then not come and castigate those that are teaching all this. Now, another aspect of our cultural heritage where we get salvation is about ancestor veneration. Do all Africans who die become ancestors? No, this is the tricky part, because Bantu cultures often hold deep reverence for ancestors. The term that alone is very, very, very deceiving, because which ancestors? Not all Africans die and become ancestors. They have to go through a process to become a revered ancestor, through a process known as ancestralization. In our book, Free From God, we deal with this process of ancestralization, which is a process by which the living actively works to ensure that the deceased loved one becomes a revered ancestor, mdzimu or in-laws. Yet they must have a record when they were living on the earth of separating themselves from deception and deceiving religions and alien technology, because otherwise they become trapped ancestors. This is all explained in our book, Free From God. And then when we know them, those that have gone through the process of ancestralization via rituals and their life, and they've defeated and conquered nature and entropy and other uncivilized activities on earth and other activities outside the earth, they become revered ancestors. And then we can connect with them and pour libation to them, not the trapped ancestor. Because if you do not know them, when you pour libation, when you call upon their names, you get the projection of deceiving and deceptive pretenders that will pretend to be your ancestors, because they know our history. Our culture taught us what we expect when we die, because you have to aim to go beyond physical limits. Like if you see the light when you die, you have to know that light has a speed, it's limited. So if you see the light, be wary of the matrix and be wary of reincarnation soul trap. There's a lot that we will say about this when we deal with or videos that deal with death steps, because there are steps that you have to take when you are about to transpire and when you're about to leave this body. You have to understand that you need to have the capacity, through the secret name of going past the ancestors, no matter they are righteous or other ancestors, to go past the gods, no matter they are divine, good or holy gods or negative gods, to go past the universe and to touch the chasm. And that's what our culture teaches us when we practice it and when we put it into practice. Let's look at other cultures like the Hebrew culture, followed by a lot of other melanin dominant human beings. There's more evidence again that Yahweh was a false god, or is a false god, and that he was married to Asherah, and that he enjoyed child sacrifice as part of Yahweh Baal rituals. Therefore, the salvation given by Judaism involving this god is not for melanin dominant human beings. The New Testament Christian religion also thrives on the death, the torture, the blood, and the consuming of blood and the flesh of a human being amid symbolism in it. So their Christian culture does not give a melanin dominant human being salvation, but steals their soul. Muslim and Islamic culture, where Allah purchased the lives of Muslims, as written in Quran 9:111. Indeed, Allah has purchased from their believers their lives. Why? Their lives is their soul, is their car, is their energy. Why does he need to purchase them? Because he is not the real creator. He's a deity, and he promised them paradise. Because he says they fight in the cause of Allah. Why fight? Why fight other human beings? What kind of culture? Bantu and Isintu and Unu never fight to want to convert people. So they kill and are killed. That's not Ubuntu. Bantu cultures are the oldest because they are connected to animism. Islam, Christianity, and Judaism have identifiable dates of founders, and the founders also, they are known. Muhammad founded Islam in the 7th century. Jesus founded Christianity in the 1st century. Moses founded Judaism in about 600 BCE or thereby. So we do not have to look for redemption outside of our culture and go to these religions, because it is very clear that animism, often regarded as the oldest religion, is connected to the meaning of animus, which means spirit or soul in everything that exists. In other words, there is no limitations. Therefore, you don't need a temple, you don't need anything to really connect. You need organized systems, because we already have totemism, which is connected to animism. Because totemism is a subgroup of animism in which a mystical union exists between members of a social group and members of these animistic entities, connecting us to animism. Like I'm fish, therefore I'm connected to the marine, I'm connected to anything that comes from marine life, and therefore I'm connected to the animism of that which is soul and spirit of the water. Ceremonies and other rituals. Ubuntu spirituality is expressed through various rituals and ceremonies that mark significant life events like birth, initiation, marriage, and death, and other dances like Intamu, war dance, similar across the whole of Africa. These ceremonies reinforce communal ties, preserve cultural heritage, and invoke ancestral grand gifts, inclusive of expansive knowledge, not narrow-minded knowledge. Same dance all over the shore. So you can't say, in South Africa only, this is what, look, this is in Hemet, they in Nguni dance, same Nguni dance, same in East Africa, same in West Africa. This dance, Utensa, is important and critical. Also, even the African origin of Tamils or Dravidians is also known. So don't be deceived. In conclusion, therefore, the practice within Ubuntu spirituality and animism are rooted in cultural traditions that provide a framework for understanding the way out of a limited cosmos. Comparatively, many religions have identifiable founders, such as Buddhism, founded by Siddhartha Gautama, Christianity, founded by Jesus, and Islam, founded by Prophet Muhammad. In contrast, Ubuntu's spirituality has no date of beginning or a specific individual's teaching or revelation or place. Just like here in Zimbabwe, this is only where we have Ubuntu. No, those are European borders. You don't think like that. So at the end of the day, it's a collective wisdom shaped culturally from beyond time and space, beyond religion and spirituality. Therefore, this distinguishes it from organized religions with identifiable founders. Therefore, there is no salvation outside of you, because the part of the person's soul that is the aspect or part of the universal soul or spirit that lived on after death through a process both the divine and the personal. So see, this is what it balances it. It symbolizes this sign: living energy, universal spirit. This was taught in ancient Kemet by our ancient ancestors. So if you ignore Kemet, you won't know some of these things. So let's remember, our culture gives us salvation. It's adequate, it's enough. Subscribe to our channel to learn more, and share, leave a comment. This is your manager Topi, Priest Rabbi Elim Tunizum Kunikenim Jaganja, saying there is no salvation outside of you, and there is no salvation outside of your culture. Therefore, your culture is your salvation, and your consciousness must be greater than your perception. Amen.